Hi everyone, welcome back to my garden. And in the last two episodes I had questions, and I'm so happy people are asking questions, how to do things, and it's exciting because I know people are watching and they want to do garden. So let's get started. Okay, to start with, we are going to show you what soil I use for seedlings. Very simple, it's just organic potting soil. Okay, I'm going to show you what container I use, and it's up to you. You can use anything. And this one is just cake came into it. And I dig some holes here, and it's nice and big and clean. Or you can get those one from the garden center, this tiny little pot. Or this clear one, you can buy them from Amazon. I can put the link for you. Basically, you can use anything as long as there is drainage, right? Okay, so now we're going to do our seedling, and I've got my potting soil here, and I'm just going to fill it up here. Yeah, 3/4, nice and soft. And this is spinach. Spinach love cold weather. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab a few and just throw them in there. That's all we need to do. And then we're just going to a thin layer and just cover it. Very thin layer. And I'm just going to give it a gentle tap. A very, very gentle tap. And all you need to do, give it a really good water. And I've put this tray underneath so the water doesn't go everywhere. If you are going to put them in your house, inside, this can't go outside for now because we need a warm place. So the best place to put your seedling is by the windowsill where you're getting light and where it's warm. So it has to be in the house. And you could see here, you see the water is gone in there, which is good. And all you have to do, make sure it doesn't go dry, and all you could do, you just fill this a little bit and just leave that there and put it somewhere where it's going to seed. Within a week, you are going to see your seedling coming up. Let me show you my spinach I planted maybe 2 weeks ago. Okay, this is my spinach I planted 2 weeks ago. And you could see here, they are growing so beautifully, and there's quite a few in here. And what I need to do now, I need to transplant them into a bigger pot because there's no room here. You could see they're choking each other and they're not going to do well. So we need to separate them, and I'm going to show you what soil I use and what nutrient I use and how to look after them. Okay, so we're going to do the transplanting now. What do we need? We need the same, the potting soil. But we have other ingredients to add to our potting soil because our little plant here needs some nutrients to grow. I have garden tone. Yeah, this is for herbs, for vegetable. What does it do? It just helps the roots to get stronger, to produce good fruits and good leaves, and you just get better harvest. So I use one of those, or you can use this one as well, not together, separate. I just bought them to show you. This is plant tone, and it does the same job. And you could see they are both organic. I don't buy non-organic. You just want to be pure because if you're growing something, you want to eat something healthy. And it's the same thing I add to my potting soil. And there is instruction at the back. Right, and it tells you, you know, how many square meters your garden is. From one little pot, we're going to use 1 teaspoon. It's either you're going to use plant tone or garden tone, or you can use chicken manure. I use chicken manure as well because I have chickens and there's a lot of manure. I use that. So whichever you have in your garden center and ask them, you know, don't be afraid to speak to the workers and ask them. But that's what I use, and it works beautifully. I get a lot of harvest. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to use this one, the garden tone. So because I've been doing garden for the last year, I'm not an expert, but I know exactly, I don't measure exactly how much I need. I've got a big tray here. All I would need is about 2 handfuls. But if you're not sure what you do, you just take your little pot, you put your soil, and you get your little teaspoon and you put a tiny bit of teaspoon, and you mix it very well, and that is it. So now I'm just going to make sure this is well mixed. I'm going to do this one here. You could see the soil is a bit dry and it's easier to take out. I've got this little gadget, but you don't need that. You can just use a spoon. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lift this here and push, right? And then just lift it up. Here you go. You see when it's dry, it's just fall apart, and we're going to gently separate them. Here we go. You see how beautiful this two is? Now we're going to put them in our potting soil here. Yeah, I'm going to dig a nice beautiful hole, and always be careful with the little stem here. You don't want to grab too hard because you don't want to bruise it. Make sure you're very gentle. Put it in there. So now I'm just going to put some soil around, and we're just going to pat gently. Really gently, and that's it. So we've transplanted our seedling. How do we look after them? What do we do with them? So first we have to make sure we water them, and I'm going to show you how and what I put in the water. Make sure you put them in a warm place, and it's the soil doesn't go dry, and you get plenty of light, and that's it. So how do I water them? I usually water them with a fish nutrients once a month, or maybe every 3 weeks to 4 weeks. So what I have here, I've got this fish nutrients. You can use any one. There is hundreds of brands out there. And so I've chose this one. That's all they had in the shop. So what I do, I give it a good shake. And you need a gallon of water and a tablespoon of your nutrients. And bear in mind, because it's fish, it's organic, and it's a bit smelly. So if you're going to do that in your house, so you might have some complaint from your children because the house smelling of fish. So I have mine in the garden, in the garage, so it's not a problem. So I'm just going to put a tablespoon in a gallon, and I'm going to give it a good stir here, mix. So you're going to do that 3 to 4 weeks, because our little plant here needs some little love, tender love and care to grow. And this is it. So yeah, it's ready. So when spring comes, we all live in different season, different zone, and when the soil is nice and warm, usually it's about March, April. Spinach love cold weather, so you can do them in March when your soil is nice and soft outside. There's no frost. And you can transplant them, and you keep watering them, every 3 weeks with your nutrient, and you're going to get beautiful harvest. And this will be a really big spinach in this tiny little plant. So I hope that helps, and don't forget to label and put the date, because when all the plants start growing, you think, oh my goodness, which is which? I get confused myself. So it's good to label and put the date, and voila. If you don't have garden space outside, you can easily transplant this when it's about a little bit bigger, yeah, and you transplant them into a bigger pot, and that is it. That's the final stage. And then you can put it in somewhere sunny. Make sure there is full sun, you water, and that's it. Simple as that. You will get beautiful harvest. Let me recap. Yeah, potting soil, you put your nutrients, yeah, it could be garden tone or plant tone. Mix a teaspoon in one pot, and transplant your beautiful little seedling. And it needs tender, loving care. Need water, light, and warmth, right? So that's what we do as well. When you read the Bible, you know, about friendship, about relationship, how do we nurture? It's like a little plant. We are like little plant. We need love, we need tender loving care, we need comfort. You know, when we are in pain, we need somebody to hear us out. And the Bible says, when one falls, the other one lifts the other up. And that's how we ought to be as a Christian. And in life in general, we need to put each other up. We need to be there and comfort when other people need us. Because in this day and age, the world is going crazy. We need each other. We need to pray for each other. I always say to my friends, when they send me a text, you know, I'm going through this, I'm like, you know what, I'm praying for you. And prayer is powerful. And that, like our little plant that need a lot of care, as human we do as well. So I would encourage you today, if somebody is in need, meet them where their needs are. If somebody is hurting, meet them where their hurts are. And you know, whatever you sow, that's what you reap. So we sow spinach and we're going to get a beautiful harvest of spinach. If you sow kindness and love and compassion, that's what you will get. And that's a lesson I've learned, you know, through my Christian lives. And even you don't get it back, it's okay. You know, everybody is different as long as you do what's right, what God has called you to do. Okay, we've talked about pots and how do we do them. Now we're going to go outside. I'm going to show you what I use outside in the garden, in my little patch I have. So here, what I use in my garden, I use garden soil. So, and I'm going to prepare, you know, my little patch, and I just buy loads of them, throw them in there. And also the same as I use with my pot, I'm going to use the plant tone, your measurement, all the instruction is at the back, or I'm going to use garden tone or chicken manure. That's all I do. I just mix them very well. I transplant my seedling, or if I'm going to do direct sowing outside, and that's all I use. And I make sure there is 6 to 8 hours of sunlight where I'm doing them, because you know vegetable love sun. And make sure I'm watering, and make sure you put your fish nutrient as well once a month, and make sure there's no weeds to choke your plants. And this is it. That's what I use all the time, and it works. I mean, you might have different brand, but that's okay. As long as it works for you, you don't have to use what I'm using here, but that's an indication. And so use other brand and test them. If it works, perfect. If not, you can change. Yeah, and guys, make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you push that notification button and let me know. Send me pictures of your plants, your garden, your flowers. And if you have any more questions, just hit it and I will try my best to answer you. And God bless you. We'll see you soon.